Today in the crypto space, we see the market not looking as strong as Bitcoin did get rejected slightly above the $100,000 mark, coming down to about $98,600. And the rest of the crypto space, led by Ethereum, taking a bit of a dip. We see Tron, AVAX, XLM, Aptos, and many others right now getting a bit of a pullback. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, I want to talk about one project that could be looking for a continuation to the upside. However, guys, be careful, and that project is called Celestia. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. We do see that the market cap has been looking pretty healthy in the last little while, peaking above the $3.7 trillion mark. Pretty good. Obviously, we're in a bit of a pullback as we speak. We've been seeing trading volume rise. Congratulations to Bitcoin that it did peak above that $100,000 mark. However, that rejection was pretty strong, as you can see. Bitcoin coming right back to where it came from pretty much. Is it going to be a back test? Was that just, a quick sell-off? The thing is that at the current moment, altcoins are not really liking what they see. And you can see that we see Ethereum coming down a little bit, getting that rejection. A lot of them are pretty much coming down, slow grinding. Some of them Cardano in a slow grind. We have BNB getting that into that slow grind. Solana still looking okay. Is the Bitcoin price action going to interrupt this slight trend to the upside for Solana? It could be possible. We see AVAX maybe getting a confirmation high, a lower high as we speak, looking like a head and shoulders formation. And as we keep on going down, you see that, there's possibility of a deeper retracement here. We have Chainlink. Is that going to be a Bart Simpson pattern? We have Sui getting a bit of a rejection. Sui did very good today. Sui, all longs on Sui. Guys, remember that long position that I talked about yesterday on the live stream and so on? Guys, it's been doing pretty good. Now, of course, you got to get defensive, like I say, like a ninja, in and out. You don't want to be holding long-term trades at the current moment with heavy leverage, because if the market decides to take that dip, you want to be prepared to take those profits and walk away, without being punished. That's the mentality at the current moment that all of us should have. We're going to talk more about this strategy during the live stream tonight, so feel free to join. And in addition to that, if you have any projects that you want me to look at, we can take a look at setups and take a look at entries and exits and all the above, so that we can navigate this market successfully. As we keep on going down, you could see the possibility of rollover. Even Matic, Pole not looking the greatest. CRO not looking the greatest. We have VeChain going sideways now, down 7.8%. So we're getting a bit of a dip here. Render got rejected after a nice pop to the upside. BitTensor kind of looking double top-ish, maybe looking for a rollover. Arbitrum, Stacks, and many projects right now looking a little slumpy as we see Bitcoin get rejected again. Now, the thing is that some projects, and clearly can be seen today, we have Celestia that I'm going to be talking about, and potentially even Phantom. The reality is that there is still potential for a continuation, okay? And the reason being is that some of these projects have already moved and they are flagging out, or it's looking for another break of structure to the upside. Now, it could get interrupted. This is something that I've experienced in previous cycles, that when Bitcoin does decide to get that retracement, these impulsive moves get interrupted, and ultimately, the price reverses, and it gives us that dip, and most of us will get caught into a trap of going bullish. So it's very important right now that if you're going to get into a bullish stance and start longing, that you have a risk management strategy that includes a healthy stop loss. Okay, so we're going to talk about Bitcoin first. We're going to take a look at Celestia. We'll definitely take a look at this market. because ultimately we got to have a plan. Now, some projects are still looking really good. WLD is looking pretty good. We have Jasmine waking up with some strength. Exchange tokens such as BGB, BitGet token, looking really good. But again, the majority of the market right now is looking a little slumpy. Even Quant rolling over a little bit. We have, Maker. Remember that short that I called on the Discord, guys? Looking pretty good to the downside, 8.5%. A little bit of leverage would have got you into a great trade. We do see a bit of weakness throughout the market. Some projects, holding steady. Tezos, Arweave holding steady. Desperately, Flare holding steady. But all of a sudden, we could see a bit of a dip, given the fact that Bitcoin's strength in this market is one that you can't really, fade. Ultimately, Bitcoin is the leading indicator of the crypto space, and if it dips, it's likely to take the entire market with it. All right, guys, so I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin. We do see that Bitcoin in the last little while has been hesitating right around this level. It finally made a move. It peaked out at about $104,000, super bullish, but that rejection, is it a blow off top? Maybe. Is it a time to see a bit of a bigger dip? Maybe. Is it time to get defensive? Absolutely, guys. Let's talk about this in a little bit more detail. Now, in the last little while, I've been talking about being a defensive trader. It doesn't mean that you can't go for moonshots or, basically go long and get into bullish price action. It doesn't mean that. What it means to get defensive is to be prepared with a strategy to defend yourself, meaning defending, number one, first priority, defend your initial investment. Don't take too much risk, okay, right now, because if the market decides to reverse itself, you'll feel the pain. So defend your initial investment, defend that capital. Number two, priority of a trader, a successful trader, is to defend the gains. So when you're in profit, how are you going to defend those gains? You take a bit off the top, trail up a stop loss, do what you have to do to classify yourself as a profitable trader. That's all you really need to do in this market. Ultimately, after Bitcoin's run, after a lot of these altcoins have been running and showing tons of strength, we have to understand that these two objectives have to be put in priority while we see Bitcoin resolve. At this current moment, I am not trusting the Bitcoin price action. I believe that Bitcoin has a really big potential to roll over here and come down to lower levels. Like, I know I'm sounding bearish, but it doesn't mean that I'm not taking advantage of long positions. What it means, again, is I'm going to be defensive. I am not going to be sleeping on an entry and expecting it to run another 150%. That moment has passed, in my opinion, and ultimately any trades have to be really quick, get in and out. And like I say, like a ninja, you want to be quick. Now, ultimately, we see this quick wick. That's a massive rejection. We see a volume in that rejection. That's not a good look. Why? Because we're getting signs of market participation, suggesting that the market agrees with this dip. And you can see it's coming back down to the breakout zone. Hopefully, we backtest. Hopefully, we confirm. But if we don't, guys, we are potentially seeing signs of weakness here. Okay, so just understand that we did make a higher high on the price action, while the momentum made a very slightly higher high. If anything, double topped, which gives us a sign of class B bearish divergence. So we have to give Bitcoin its moment, right? Volatility is pushing down right now, the orange line. Let's see what kind of bullish response we get from the bulls once the volatility line gets fully reset down to here and goes up again. And you can see that it tends to go up and down, down and up pretty much. And you can see that ultimately we're waiting for a bullish response to the upside, while the trend oscillator, and if we take a look there, give me a second, you can see it's still somewhat bullish. EMAs did not cross. We could still get a fake out. Expansion is still purple and up, so pretty good. And the EMAs are pretty much in the bullish control zone at the current moment. So this is what we have to understand, is that fake outs do happen quite a bit. But would I be taking risk on Bitcoin? Absolutely not. Would I be taking a risk on altcoins? Depending on the setup. All right, guys, so let's take a look at Celestia. The reason why I brought Celestia up is for a couple of reasons. Number one, short-term time frame. This is what I see. If we go on the daily, I might even go on the 4-day. You know what? We don't need to. Let's stay right here. Right, you can see that this is a structure that I've been tracking for a good while. I did release the video where I got into my entries down here. I built decent sized margin positions, and then I exited them right around here. Why? Because I was in heavy profit, and for me, that's all that mattered. All my leverage positions that I got into, my margin positions, were deep in the green, and it wasn't something that I was willing to give up just in case. Why? Because it was decent, and for me, that's more important. I want to walk away knowing that I'm very profitable, and ultimately I can get into shorter term trades to continue trading volatility, whether it be to the upside or the downside. Like I always say, it doesn't matter which way we go, we can find a trade. But if I can lock in the gains and walk away very profitable and ensure that, my expenses are covered for the next year, I'm going to take that opportunity. And you should be thinking about that. Set yourself some goals. And if your short-term trading portfolio hit that goal, take the profit, because there's always another trade coming up. Okay, and this is what I want to bring to your attention, is that this was the beginning of the position. This is giving you another opportunity, and ultimately this is a scenario where you can get into another long position. And unfortunately, Bitcoin's showing that weakness, and unfortunately we have to be defensive. Like I've said, we can't be permeable all the time, but we can't deny the fact that this is a healthy scenario. The fact is that the price came down, back tested, bounced off of the previous highs as support. It is still above the 200 daily, and more importantly, it's flagging out here. Okay, so this is a scenario where you're in a trading opportunity. This is something that I've been saying for a good while. Guys, we have to get used to trading bull flags. They're continuation patterns, right? So continuation patterns mean that ultimately we're going to move to the upside with a breakout to the upside. If you can weather this storm as we consolidate and go sideways and get both longs and shorts wrecked as they get taken too much risk. So for me, it's about being patient here. However, if we do break down, it's likely that we come down and backtest the liquidation zones, which is the level of which the most liquidity is at, which is slightly below the 6.5, maybe $6.60, right below there. This is where we start to hunt liquidity. Just can you imagine how many people accumulated into this range and expected a massive pump? Personally speaking, the way we're positioned right here, unless Bitcoin decides to really dump on us, Celestia is looking like it wants to continue to the upside. And from an upside potential scenario, guys, it looks like the party just got started. It got its first impulsive move. Now, if you're into Elliott wave theory, this might be an interesting one to you. Okay, not this tool. Let's use, which tool am I going to use? Let's use this one. Okay, ultimately, we got our first leg. That's wave number one. Now we're in wave number two, potentially in a retracement. Remember, it could be a very shallow retracement where we go sideways. Based on Elliott wave, it's still valid. Then we get into the third wave. This is where the magic happens. Why? Because if this whole scenario is going to be classified as a impulsive move, it needs to create a 5-wave structure, a 5-wave scenario. This is only 1, 2, 3. The best part of a 5-wave impulsive move to the upside is the third wave, because it has to be bigger than the first wave. So if this is going to be classified as a 5-wave structure, we are going to be excited for the third wave because it's going to be bigger than this one. And if that's the case, it's likely that we start hitting maybe about $12, maybe even higher. Now, if we look at previous projects, other price action, and see what they've been doing, the reality is a lot of them are reaching previous highs, especially the newer ones that don't have much older price action. The reality is this price action is from this cycle. This is a new project, new cycle project, and we're seeing a lot of them reach previous highs and get into price discovery. So I think Celestia, if the market is meant to continue in the next little while and Bitcoin continues going sideways within the structure, just keep in mind what has been happening as Bitcoin was slightly below the $100,000 mark. What happened to those altcoins? They were popping off on the daily. And ultimately, even if Bitcoin at the current moment hangs around the $98,000 level and still maintains its sideways trajectory, ultimately we will see more altcoins pop off bit by bit until Bitcoin gets exhausted of holding its level and either pops to the upside again and blasts right through that 105 previous high, or it says, you know what, I got to come down to pick up some more bullish bids, so then there's more strength to break through the 105 eventually. Okay, so this is what we have to understand. Now, in that scenario that we continue moving to the upside, Bitcoin will suck liquidity out of the altcoins. They will kind of go sideways. They may dip a little bit. They may look a little slumpy, but ultimately when we see Bitcoin hesitate after its impulse, we'll see a bit of a rotation into the altcoin market and continue to the upside. The worry is if Bitcoin comes down really hard and then we start to see altcoins come down really hard. That is the bigger worry, because a 30% retracement, a 20% retracement on Bitcoin equates to a significant one. It could come down to about 65%, if not even more, depending on the project and the market cap. So we really have to be prepared for that worst case scenario. Why? Because statistically speaking, if you look at what Bitcoin has been doing, it is due for a bit of a retracement. Now I'm going to, kind of backtrack a little bit here. This is why I chose this project, because ultimately you can see that I'm worried and I am not looking for risk at the moment, but I am happy to take risk in Celestia or projects that are flagging out like this. Why? Because the bull flag gives you a structure. The bull flag right here gives you a structure where you can anticipate this continuation, that third wave, which would give you a massive pump to the upside, and the risk to reward ratio is healthy if you can catch the bottom of the structure. So today, that's what I did. I built a position all into this level. Okay, and you can see that ultimately, if we start moving, we're talking about a good percentage. We can easily make a 50% move to the upside, reaching about $12. Okay, that would be absolutely epic. Now, again, we can get that setup going, and you can see what I mean. Let's say we get in right now, we put a stop loss underneath the range, and we look for a $12 target, slightly below. Risk to reward ratio is 2.5 to 1, which is healthy. You're up 38%, just getting to $12, which is the previous high. Now, if you can dollar cost average within the range and bring your average price down a little bit, you can see that you can be up a little bit more with regards to percentage, and the risk to reward ratio improves significantly. So this is what we're talking about now. Is this the bull flag, or are we going to eventually roll over here? We do have a bit of a weak spot here on the volume profile, suggesting weakness, that we could come down to about 6.8, but given the state of the market, and as we are seeing altcoins wake up and continue to the upside, in my opinion, Celestia just got started. Okay, it just changed character. It just begun to change a character. So technically speaking, it's early, and it's likely that this bull flag continues to the upside. Now, another thing. Look at this volume. This volume, it showed that it had enough strength to break out. These are short-term traders that are taking profit. I was one of them. I took profit here. I exited my leverage positions. But once it got structured, now I'm able to get back in with a stop loss into here, which freed up some capital when I took profit, and I was able to get into other trades with that capital. And now that I see it looking for a bull flag, I'm willing to jump right back in for the next move to the upside. So it's all strategic. Now, if we go on to the lower time frames, actually, let's take a look at oscillators. You can see that the expansion is full force right now. Okay, it's looking pretty good. The momentum is upward sloping. Volatility is getting a bit of a U-turn. This is what's getting me even more interested, because ultimately, look at the U-turn that it had here. It did a quick Uno reverse at this level, and right at this zone, right in the thick of things, it's pretty much doing another Uno reverse right here, and potentially getting overbought. Nice opportunity to expect another impulsive move, to see the purple line way overbought. The majority of the moves happen when the purple line is overbought. And if we go back and see, look what happened when the purple line was overbought. And let's look at the price action. Massive move to the upside when it gets super overbought. And you can see that we're kind of due. Let me show you what I mean here, and why I think that we're kind of due for that move is ultimately follow this. Look what's happening here. Look at the expansions in the background, the red expansions, and then all of a sudden the red expansions start to taper off, and we start to get introduced to green ones. And bit by bit, we're going to slowly start moving up, where the green ones are going to come into control as we were here, and this is where we're going to get the continuation to the upside. And again, the EMAs, the trend oscillators looking super good. Whoa, that was a mistake on my part. Let's see. There we go. Let's see what's happening here. EMAs are still facing up. This is a little bit of a fake out here happening, guys. As you can see, it's opening up. It looks like a duck face right there. That's opening up again. We see the green histogram bar is still looking pretty good. We are in the bullish control zone after battling this entire opportunity to get into the bullish control zone. I feel like we deserve, or we should give Celestia the opportunity to see it run. Okay, it's still fairly early here. Okay, so looking pretty good. Now I want to quickly get into lower time frames so we can see this structure a little bit better. As you can see, we got a nice V recovery here, which is really nice. We do have that volume gap that we need to entertain and keep in mind that if we break below $7, we're coming down to about $5.73 in the short term, or getting at least some support at 670, which is the 200 EMA on the 4-hour, which is pretty good based on confluence on the tops, as you can see looking left. So looking pretty good. But really what is keeping me interested is this V recovery and a flag right here, a bull flag right here, and a continuation to the upside, guys, will validate the thesis, and it's most likely that we see this thing start to move in the next little while. At the same time, keeping me very defensive that if we break below this bottom, it's likely that we're going to be starting to look for lower levels, and we need to get out. Why? Because again, if Bitcoin decides to roll over, we need to be prepared with that defensive strategy. Number one, like I'm going to repeat it, number one, to protect your initial investment, protect that capital. And number two, protect the gains. Put those stop losses well into profit, take a bit of profit off the top, and let the rest run. And that's the way you can get into trades in the short term while Bitcoin resolves itself and we figure out what's going on, because there's still definitely a ton of trading that could be happening in this market as we see Bitcoin give us the signals. Are we rolling over, or are we going to continue to the upside? Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join that Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. See you tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.